Well, why don't you just buy a bed frame from IKEA or something?
I thought I could sit in the box.
Listen, the last time I stepped into a furniture store, I ended up with a brain injury so severe that it's baffling neurologists to this day. I have the resources and free time to build my own, so why not? It's important that you know where we're starting from. If I want to do a floating bed frame, I mean, just look at this. It looks ridiculous. That's not floating at all. You can see the man behind the curtain here, and it's 13 inches of metal. Now, after several hours and attempts of design work, this is what I landed on. I think it looks pretty nice. Now, I bet you're wondering, but Alex, that's my name. Alex, where are you getting the rest of the metal from? And the answer is I'm going to cannibalize the rest of my furniture. When this bed frame is done, we're gonna add bam and bam! In order to minimize error, I'm gonna try and divide this out into a lot of steps. So this is step 1. This is what we're working towards for the next like minute to 30 seconds of the video. But I'm not gonna bore you with a bunch of B-roll and a bunch of look how I use my table saw. That's not what this kind of video is. This is what you wanna see, which is me messing up over and over again. Yeah, we f***ed it up already. So we're going to go to the garage in like approximately 12 seconds, I promise. The error that we made was blink and you'll miss it. This needs to be like this. Why? Well, let's say I wanted to drill a hole where this black dot is.
Woe is me.
Yeah, no, that's pretty suboptimal. That's not good. We don't want that. But instead, let's say I drilled it on this X, star circle with arrows pointing at it. Now that's a hole right there. I could put a bolt through that. Good job, Alex. So what I wanted to do was take 2 bolts and go like, ooh, and then it'd be fine. It would be stable and it would hold up. But what actually happened was
Shit.
very suboptimal. Besides that fiasco, step 1 actually went pretty smoothly. I table sawed out all the rest of the wood. I think my extension cord just fucking exploded. Because that is definitely toxic. It does not smell right. I did some mild angle grinding, which was slightly terrifying. Because when I went to my big box stores, they both gave me the wrong threading. It was very obnoxious. At the end of the day, I just gave up and made my own bolts. I took the ones that came with the frame and I just angle ground them until they worked to remove some washers so that they were long enough. And after all of that, it was finally time to do a test fit. The amount of times I've had to carry the bed frame in and out and in and out of my room, from the garage to the room and back, in order to like make micro adjustments. It was not fun. And I'm just one dude, you know? Other people got stuff to do, and I'm building shit in the garage. I think the only thing else of note is, if you didn't figure it out already, the reason why these like 2x4s are here is not for aesthetic purposes. It's to support the weight of all of this bullshit. Because if somebody steps like right here, it's just going to break everything if I don't reinforce it like a lot. In order to make sure that they would never move literally ever, I used lag screws to attach these 2x4s. Now this is a lag screw, for those who don't know, and it's the stuff that's used to hold buildings and wooden roller coasters together. So after all that, it's finally time for step 2, which is this. Now, I didn't record making these chamfers, but it's pretty simple. You just set a saw at an angle and then run it through. Now, I made these chamfers to kind of challenge myself and do something that I'd never done before, but it had an unintended side effect. If anyone hits their ankle on the bed frame, it's even sharper now. It will take out your ankles and you will not walk forever. The real challenge of this step was how heavy all of the pieces were, because I had no idea how I was going to attach all of everything on the right to all of everything on the left. It proved to be really difficult. so I enlisted some help. Even with help, moving all the bed pieces back and forth from my room took another 4-ish hours. And then for the first time, it was time to put the bed frame portion together. Here are some highlights from that. We need to put dowels on. Ah! Do you remember 2 nights ago when I was on Discord when I was sanding?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so smart for this. This is what I was so smart for. This goes like this.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It works though. So now we think
one on
this
this
side. Do you know why?
Because penis and vagina makes baby.
Yes. How did you know?
Oh.
Other side. Other side. Other side.
Fuck off! This is very satisfying to put together. Holy shit.
Welcome to woodworking. This is literally woodworking.
Well, yeah, whenever you woodwork, it's miserable, so it's nice to see something coming together.
It's just a gap. That's what I was afraid of happening. I didn't break any of my clamps doing that. The dry fit taught me 2 things. If I clamp too hard, all of these pieces are going to get bowed. And what that means is instead of looking like this, it's going to look like this because of the clamping pressure. That's not good. We don't want that. So to combat this, in the very stressful glue up, I clamped 2x4s to keep it straight. And this was a really good idea. I think it worked very well. This was 45 minutes of just adjusting clamps to make sure that everything was straight and square and glue is in the right places and not in the wrong places. But just how good did the gluing go? For word on that, let's ask Past Alex. Past Alex, how well did the gluing go? Oh, it looks like he's got something for us. It's in the shop vac. Why is it in the shop vac? Oh, this is, I don't... Okay. Alright. He's right, though, because, like, look at these gaps. I had to fill all of them in. Which wasn't that bad, but I just kind of wish that I didn't have to do it, because it took, like, 2 hours. Now, you may be wondering, how do you fill such a gap? Well, it's very simple. First, you need to squeeze as much wood glue into the gap that you can fit. Then you need to sand it down. And what this should do is the sawdust from the sanding mixes with the glue. However, I had my sawdust collection plugged in like a frickin' Goomba. So it collected all the sawdust and the gap didn't look as nice. It's still not noticeable though, it's fine. And then after sanding for another 4 hours, it was finally time to finish. And I'm just gonna let you enjoy this footage with the birds chirping and the finish cleanly showing the beauty of the wood. Haha, just kidding, we did it wrong. So all of this is unimportant and was sanded off later. See, I shouldn't have been using this type of brush because it leaves all these streaks in the finish because of the type of finish that it is. This mistake stung especially hard because the repair for it to undo the mistake was 4, 5, 6 hours of sanding. And at a certain point, you just gotta nut up and spend all that time sanding and do it again. So with a foam brush in hand, I went ahead and applied 4 more coats of the same finish the proper way after doing many hours of research. Because, man, I did not want to do this again. I don't mind the sanding as much as I mind fixing a mistake by sanding. At this point, it took 3 guys to move this 200-pound piece of furniture only like 20 feet. It was another moment of truth to see if the mattress would fit. Okay, it's in on this side.
It's not on this side.
Hey Wyatt, shut up.
I got it. Yeah, and it's funny because
That looks like it's bowing.
Hey Wyatt. Shut up. Step 3. Now, right off the bat, we cut some wood to the wrong length. These top 2 shelves are 59.5 inches, and the headboard is 56.5 inches. We cut the top shelves the length of the headboard, and the headboard also the length of the headboard, meaning we were a little bit short. But that's okay, because I just used the top shelves as the headboard pieces because they looked nicer, and used some more plywood for the top pieces, and divided it into 4 because I didn't have enough plywood. Hee 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 hee. Anyway, these 2 top pieces of metal came from the original bed frame, but I still don't know where I'm gonna get these 2 side ones. So, I don't know where I'm gonna... Don't judge me. When I cut these pieces in half, They didn't look like this, which is what I wanted. Man, I should have catted this before I started recording. Yeah, instead they were these U-shaped, which is not good like structurally or visually, so I had to make some wood inserts. This proved really convenient later because it was a lot easier to screw the wood inserts into the rest of the frame than the metal would have been to screw into the rest of the frame. Which brings me to the hardest part of this build. Seriously, all of that up to now, even getting the finish wrong and like that being like 6 hours of work, that wasn't the hardest part of the build. The hardest part of the build was drilling through metal without a drill press, which would have made this really easy, 56 times. I went downstairs, I counted. It's 56 holes in the metal.
Oh my god.
If you're ever drilling into metal, I'm gonna tell you the secret. You drill nice and slow, and you push hard as hell. You don't want to drill quickly, you drill slow, and you push stupid hard. It does it quick. Oh, and I had to pre-drill all of the holes in the wood so that it wouldn't split in half like we discussed earlier. How many holes is that? That's a total of 84 holes. That is 5.6 hours of drilling. Anyway, as I show you this final headboard assembly, I thought I'd go over the cost and my takeaways before I show you the nice ending fancy B-roll. So let's talk about the cost. If I went to IKEA and bought a bed frame, it would have set me back about $550 for the most similar bed frame to the one I built. If I went on Etsy, it would have set me back around $1,500 for this floating platform bed style. I spent $529.51. Asterisk, often I see other maker channels will say, this expense only cost X amount, in a way that I really don't like that much. For example, they'd list duct tape as a 35-cent expense because that's how much of the roll they used in the project, but you can't buy 35 cents of duct tape. You have to buy the whole roll at a time. I priced everything by the price I had to pay, including leftover screws that I can use for other projects. But I'm happy with the price I paid. The finished product is worth a lot more to me than money anyway. The last thing that I wanted to say was that this video is a compilation of mistakes and challenges because that's personally what I find entertaining to watch on YouTube. But despite all these mess ups, I'm not that bad of a woodworker, and I'm really happy with the final product. After all, I'm the only person that's gonna know all of the mistakes, and almost none of them are visible to anybody, even experienced woodworkers or me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.